All right, hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Jeremy Babender, Executive Director of SciTech Institute. In spirit of STEM innovation, on which the Arizona Tech Council Foundation was founded 17 years ago, we are evolving to more effectively meet the needs of the state's community and residents. Since its launch, the Arizona SciTech Festival's 900 plus partners have engaged hundreds of thousands of attendees in over 80 cities and towns. Then a major turning point occurred last year when the entire world experienced the impact of COVID. A shift to online learning and remote work opportunities. Arizona students, teachers, families, and communities were all affected in different ways. SciTech Institute aims to highlight the virtual reality that has arisen in response to the COVID pandemic. Our goal is to support the online and in-person approaches to formal and informal education, increase awareness of new career pathways, and support all learning in Arizona. We would love your help today with supporting the Arizona Department of Education. Together, we can support all educators and learners in this new environment, thrive together, and organize resources to continue the effort to improve access for all Arizona residents. By encouraging your team members to complete the assessment, we can identify and work together to acquire the resources necessary to support all learners. Thank you for joining us today, Superintendent of Cochise County, Jackie Clay. Can you share why you think the assessment is important?
Good morning, everyone. Or I'm sorry, good afternoon, everyone. Well, my name is Jackie Clay. I'm the Cochise County Superintendent of Schools. State technology assessment can be a great tool to help us set a direction for our education system. And when I talk education system, I'm talking the whole gambit. We're talking not just the schools, but community. Okay, if we can create strategies based on, if we try to create strategies based on one demographic, those strategies will always be flawed. However, knowing the uniqueness of our schools and communities could be our strength. And by purposely obtaining a 360-degree view of our technology challenges, instead of a partial 270-degree view, we can move westward successfully. And what I mean by that is 360 is the full gambit. And a lot of times when we make decisions based on just a small amount of information, no matter how good that strategy is, it's going to be flawed for someone. Getting the whole thing, if we can have everybody participate, we get a bigger view and we have a wider landscape. So I would say, acquiring data pertaining to our challenges, especially in our rural and our remote communities, not only affect the economic independence of our students, and it does, but it directly relates to the economic success of our communities. I believe as long as this assessment is relevant, it doesn't take up too much time. And I'm speaking for the county superintendent. I'm speaking for the district superintendents in Cochise County because I know my family. So here I go. As long as it's relevant, it doesn't take up a lot of time, and the data is shared with the participants so they can also go back and share with their communities and school districts. I truly believe a statewide assessment could be very, very, very beneficial.
Thank you for sharing those thoughts on it, Jackie. From our end, it's just super excited to see that support. We initially heard about it in our conversation with Chris Richardson. I was part of the technology task force. I think I noticed some others on the line as well that were part of that task force. And what's exciting about it was it just wasn't a group that came together. We talked a few things and then we kind of went our own directions. But what was really neat was just how ADE really took the recommendations to heart. And when I talked to Chris, I'm like, wow, the office that they created, this Office of Digital Teaching and Learning, is actually an outgrowth of that task force. And so it's just so exciting to see that this is taking the next steps. And you'll hear after talking with Chris and his team, they really mean action and want things to happen. And so I'm excited to really pass the torch here. We're here from SciTech to really support their efforts and really do what we can to make that happen, and hoping you can as well. So with no further ado, I want to pass it over to Chris.
Hi, everyone. This is Chris Richardson here. I'm CIO at Arizona Department of Education. First off, thanks SciTech for welcoming to this community. And you'll learn one of the things that we're very interested in with the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning is to build community and leverage existing communities, just like we are today. Thanks to you, Superintendent Clay. Love the message. You're right. I mean, that's part of, you'll learn about kind of our assessment board that helped get to this place. We know that if we make it easy, we make it relevant, we share the data, we can understand what opportunities lay ahead and really help change the trajectory for our K-12 school system in Arizona. That's what this is about. So, with that said, it's just a brief slide to kind of warm it up of what the program is, what the intent is by the Department of Education. Superintendent Kathy Hoppins, very excited. In fact, she had us kind of do a roadshow. I see Kelly Kozlak on here. We went and talked to all the district and counties, all the county superintendents and the teams by which they had amassed. And we talked about what this office is, amongst other things that ADE is doing that are innovative and changing. And this one really had a great welcome. We appreciate the teams that the superintendents introduced us to. And we built an assessment board to do those things, to identify how to make the questions relevant, how to make them simple to respond to, and most of all, how to make them so that they actually give us data that we can work from, so we can kind of build in a strategy for what we look to accomplish in 2022. A few points here. We really want to make sure that this office is not telling you what to do. In Arizona, there's a very strong culture of independent decision making. It's not to take away any of that, whether it's IT or not. We just feel we want to look to see what common elements exist out there and help. Some schools, maybe they're innovating amazingly. They don't need a ton of help. Maybe they want to do the next innovation. Maybe others haven't been able to invest. Maybe there's a way we can pool funds to get them a better service at a cheaper way and creatively learn about what's working in other districts. So one of the big goals that we've identified, that tech task force that Jeremy was on and represented earlier, they found that over 200,000 of our homes with school-age children then did not have broadband or do not have broadband. And so that's one of the things that we really have to work on. There's a lot of federal funding. Mylan's been working on the E-rate program for a long time, done great work. And he's been helping with some final mile work and some of there's some consortiums out there that are doing great things. So the needle's moving, and we just need to get that much closer to 100% of connectivity. For those that saw our detailed presentation, we did reference that we'd like to see 100% by 2025 of our K-12 schools benefit from this office in some way. We'll be providing skills, information that can be consumed by teachers, by students, potentially by parents, definitely by IT staffs and or leaders, to just help understand what's possible. And we can be focused on things, as we mentioned, the connectivity to the home. We can be focused on continued work from E-rate and or other creative ways to get better connectivity to the schools. Once the connectivity is there, making sure it's secure, it doesn't pose risks to our K-12 school system in security manners. We can look at the productivity tools, how you interoperate with ADE and each other. We can even look at the tools that are in the classrooms. How are we making sure the best technology is in the hands of the right teachers to teach the right things to the right students, and that they know how to use them. So, I mean, that's really where we're focused. And, our ask is that you're all thinking big and being creative in what you want to accomplish, and that this assessment gets us that data so we can focus where it makes the most sense. And as it says, mission, bridge the gap. How do we find out what assessment gaps exist? We know some schools are doing great in some parts of technology, but not in others. We know some have way more resources, and so have other places. And so we're going to be finding consistencies in the data to help ADE in our investment Office of Digital Teaching and Learning put our resources to get the best results for you all. And the connection side, it's the connecting through communities of practice. We just know that leveraging people and collaborating and bringing the best ideas is going to help us get the right result. We can go to one district and say, here's what they did, here's how it was successful. And then another district can talk directly to their peers and find out how to do it and or replicate the model, or maybe extend that same service in a cost-effective way that brings the price down for everyone. So it's the connectivity of the community, but it's also the connectivity of the infrastructure. And then finally, keep in mind what's really important is that our students are succeeding and they have the right technology, they know how to use it. There's all sorts of benefits beyond that than just the cost and the ability to have the right technology in the places. So we're as excited. That's what I'm here to share. And I'm going to turn it over to Karina to talk about the assessment itself. And again, thanks for recording this, and feel free when this is sent out to forward it to whoever you want. We're not trying to be behind closed doors. We want to be as transparent as possible so we get the best data possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. So yes, my name is Karina Jones. I am Director of IT Communications and Strategy at the Office of at the Department of Education, and I'm also an Associate Superintendent, a Deputy Associate Superintendent in ADE. And I am here to welcome everyone to what is going to be the opportunity assessment as well. But this opportunity assessment, first of all, and before everything, I wanted to be very grateful with the members that I am showing on the screen right now. This is part of the assessment board that has helped us with consultancy on different aspects in putting together this assessment that we are releasing today. So I know some of them are here, and thank you so much, everyone in this call who have contributed to this assessment. Now, let's talk a little bit about this opportunity assessment that we just released today, by the way, and I'm so thrilled to share those good news. So this opportunity assessment is intended with 3 reasons. It's designed with 3 purposes. Number 1, we want to identify those needs in our LEAs. We want to identify where the gaps are, where the opportunities are. Based on understanding those opportunities, we will prioritize interventions and how to support and allocate resources that the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning is going to be looking after you to get those resources. So this opportunity assessment is very useful, and it's going to be very helpful for all LEAs. The good news is that we just released it today, and the team and I are thrilled to have been able to push that send button this morning and distribute this assessment to school superintendents, and we will talk more about that. This assessment is open from November 15 through December 15. So we have a month. We know that Thanksgiving break is in between, but we also know that the Christmas break is approaching, and we know that it's a month to do a lot of effort that's going to pay off in the future as we put together the resources that will come as a result of this assessment. What is included in this assessment? This assessment, if as you can see, will have 2 different parts. And actually, the way that this is designed is when school superintendents receive the assessment, they are being asked to delegate the assessment to 2 different individuals. Number 1 is that individual who's going to answer the questions for the academic and curriculum segments of the assessment. And the second one is the individual who's going to answer the technology questions. We are aware that people that hold the knowledge of technology and academic and curriculum may be different. So for that reason, we are giving the opportunity to split the assessment in 2 different sections and decide and designate who is the best person to respond to each one of those questions. The technology one will have aspects that are rather related to the infrastructure of schools and devices that are being used, connectivity available, LMSs, learning management system, and other systems that are supporting the whole foundation of digital teaching and learning. The academics and curriculum piece has questions that are related to professional development, to organization, support networks. How are we supporting students? How are we supporting teachers? So the questions are designed to be answered by somebody in an administrative role, academics, curriculum, also at the district level. So these are just examples of segments included in those 2 different sections of this opportunity assessment. Like I said, we are thrilled that today we were able to send this assessment to school superintendents in districts, okay? And we are also, not yet, but we will send soon the one for charter representatives. It's going to come later today. But the school superintendent's assessment was distributed today. The way that this will work is they will receive it. They will receive this assessment. They have already received it, and they are delegating to 2 different individuals, like I mentioned before, technology and curriculum. Now, I have the very good news to say that after we distributed that assessment, we already have about 20 responses to it, and one of them is already completed. Actually, 2 different districts have already completed at least one of the sections. So I want to recognize Madison Elementary District from Maricopa County and Mary O'Brien Accommodation District from Pinal County, who have already completed at least one of the sections of the assessment. And we are monitoring, and we are here to support. The team is here to support if there is any questions. Okay, like I was saying, this is important. I want to emphasize it. The request is to decide 2 different individuals that are going to answer each one of the questions, each one of the segments of the assessment, technology and curriculum or academics. Who you decide is going to be the one to actually complete the questions or gather the information of the questions. Maybe they don't have answers to everything, but they can collect or they can gather the information to the questions. We have several resources that we will share talk about in the next slides, but we have several resources to help these individuals, to help your team to get answers to these questions. Now, with that said, I would like to also introduce to all of you and welcome to the very 2 first members of the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning. And that is Kelly Cruzy, who is our ODTL. ODTL stands for Office of Digital Teaching and Learning Program Manager, and Jason Schomburger, who is our data analyst. These 2 resources, before I give it to them, these 2 resources are resources for you, our resources for our districts, our resources for our LEAs, to be with them, to work with them, to be close and understand the needs. Data analyst Jason is also be helping on the evaluation of programs and supporting LEAs to make sure that we move that needle. So with that, Kelly, Jason, are you guys here? Maybe just to say hi a little bit.
Yes, hi. I can't see Jason right now, but I know he's here.
There you go. Hey, welcome.
Nice to see everyone.
Yeah, real nice to see everyone. I'm really excited to be on this project. I think this is something that's much needed, and very excited to hopefully be making some progress on some of these milestones as immediately as possible. So.
Absolutely. Did you want to move into the next slide? There we go. Okay, so first of all, thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Kelly, and I have been with the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning for exactly 1 week. So things are moving fast, and it's really exciting to see what's happening. And I'm really excited to see what comes in from the results of this assessment. So I know that this will take time and effort from each of the districts and the schools, but that time and effort is going to really go a long way. And so as Karina had mentioned before, the online assessment is open November 15th through December 15th. So that's exactly 1 month. There is a holiday in there. So we know it's also a busy time of year. Your semesters are wrapping up. So we know that there's a lot going on, and we try to make this as efficient as possible. And again, Jason and I, we are here, we're the face of this, and we are here to help with any questions you might have. We do have a screen coming up with our email addresses and the office email address where you can reach us. You can also reach us by phone, however you need to. We also want to keep everybody informed. So Superintendent Clay had mentioned a few things that I thought were really important. 1, the relevancy. 2, this being timely as far as this is easy for you all to complete, but I also took that as timely for us as far as our turnaround time and getting our results out to everyone and keeping those results transparent. And that is a whole part of this process. So we plan to communicate weekly. We are planning to have weekly newsletters to update everyone on the process as we go through it. And then we'll have a dashboard where you can actually see our completion rates. So you can see who has completed and how that number is those numbers compared to the aggregate. So as far as getting to the goal line, we'd love to have 100% completion. And you can actually help us track that and see that on our dashboard online. And then December 20 or 15th, it does close. It closes at midnight. So it will remain open. I am sure we'll be sending out reminder emails and doing what we can to help assist and make sure that everybody knows that deadline is approaching. Again, we want to get as many responses as possible. And then in December and January, we will share the information with this group. So again, the ultimate goal here is what we're publishing and creating our strategy. But before we get to that, we want to make sure, again, that we're being transparent, that the dashboard information is available, and that we can share that county level data with the entire assessment group. February is our goal for our published strategy. And again, this is how we plan to support LEAs. So Chris had mentioned earlier, this is not at all the Department of Education telling schools what to do or how to operate. This is us collecting information that will be helpful to you as far as resources that are available to you, so that we can then publish what the needs are and help get those resources available to you. And that's also the plan for moving forward and the ongoing plan. So how we implement the strategy using that assessment, tracking our progress, and then continually improving. So this is not something that you're going to submit and then just dies and is not used. This is something that helps us establish our baseline so we can continue moving forward and collecting more and more information so that we can improve and help schools be successful with their digital teaching and learning. And then here are the ways that you can contact us. I know coming up later, or maybe in the past, were our personal emails, but you've also got our website here. So this is on the Arizona Department of Education website for you can get to the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning. And we've got the information there. And then also there is the office email. And so again, we shared our personal emails, office email, phone, whatever you need to do to get your questions to us. Definitely send them, because we want to respond as soon as we can and be as supportive as possible throughout this process.
Thank you, Kelly. Also to add, if everyone wants to check that website, there's some resources that we have prepared for you. You will have the list of questions that are included in the assessment are published. Also, we have a preparation checklist. So that is what LEAs can use to prepare before completing the assessment. It's like following a checklist to make sure that some data are available. And there's also a glossary so that we have common understanding of some of the terms that are being used in the opportunity assessment. So check the resources and feel free to reach out to this team who is ready to support as we move forward. So Kelly from SciTech, or Jeremy, I give it back to you.
Thank you. So one thing that we've found very successful is to have breakout discussions. So we would like to put Kelly, Jason, and Karina in breakouts to just kind of have the opportunity to ask any questions in a smaller setting. Or we've created this Google Doc of opportunities where you can share resources. Maybe things are going very well in your school district, or suggestions of ways we can collaborate to really celebrate the responses, and then identify needs in ways that we can bring communities together to really make a difference based on the outcomes of the assessment. So this is really an opportunity for everybody to kind of throw their hat in the ring, share what they have available, suggestions of future opportunities they'd like to see support, not only from the Tech Task Force, but the connections throughout all of your different communities. So again, we're going to open up breakout rooms. If you don't have any questions or you feel comfortable with what's been shared today, we're definitely going to stay on the line. But like I said, you can jump into breakout rooms, have a little bit of discussion, maybe even give Kelly, Jason, and Karina some, updates on how you'd like the newsletter sent. I know Chris wanted to make sure you understand we might not have everybody's contact information in the database. So if you definitely want to receive all of the communications, make sure we have your information. You can drop it in the chat box we're recording, or you can add it to that spreadsheet too. So with that, I want to throw it over to Jeremy. Any other final thoughts before we send them into breakout room?
No, just excited that, excited there's so many people interested in the data assessment, working together on these initiatives really is going to really help us learn what are the needs. And I think that was one thing of the task force was to pull that together. So just really appreciate ADE and the office working together to make that happen. So.
Excellent. We'll go back over to Chris.
Thanks for joining. We're excited. And I want to reiterate something that Kelly Crucy shared, is that this survey is meant to turn over time into a tool. This isn't a one-time, we'll never look at it again. It's meant to be something that helps guide and shape IT strategy and for you all individually, as well as where we put our resources to keep iterating over time and get the best result we can from the office's participation and our resources. And just like we've done on a smaller scale with E-Rate, we can help coordinate with your teams. We can help get you scale. We can help you respond to what you're facing. And we think we can do that in a number of ways, not just for school broadband.